Okay, welcome back, you guys. Today's podcast might sound just a little bit different for a couple of reasons. One, you may have noticed there's no intro music. And two, the sound could just sound differently because for the first time ever, I am recording a podcast from my phone. So for those of you that have been following along on my social media, you know that my computer was broken by my beautiful children who are just playing around, complete accident. And so it is currently being repaired. So rather than wait around for everything to be perfect and for my podcast to sound the same way it always does, we are going progress over perfection all the way. And we're just dropping this in here and getting this out however we can. So thanks for being here, as always. And I'm happy that you chose to tune into this episode. This is kind of like a personal update, but also with, as always, some takeaways that I think could be beneficial for you as well. But if you are following me on social media, you know that my Instagram has turned into somewhat of a wellness vlog, a food vlog, if you will. And that is because I have made some gigantic shifts in my diet, and I'm really taking an inventory of how I'm feeling physically and mentally these days. And so I want to share all of this with you. I want to share why I'm doing it, what it is that I'm actually doing, because I know that there is some confusion there. And this is truly just to share my experience and my perspective for you. I will let you know that I am going to have Jamie Shupp, who I have been working with to do all of this testing. She's been supporting me with my supplements, with finding recipes and snacks and all the things. And she is a nutritional therapy practitioner. I will be having her on the show in a bit when I move into kind of this next phase of this whole process, which is when I really should be feeling at my peak, at my best. And so I want to have her back on. She's been on the podcast before, but I want to have her back on to really talk about like scientifically what is actually happening in my body with my body chemistry and my gut microbiome, all of the things. And so she is going to do a much better job than I'm going to do today communicating all those things. So if you're here for the science and the facts and all of that, you'll have to come back for that episode. And if you're just really wanting to know what the hell I'm doing and why I keep posting like food and supplements on my Instagram, then this episode is for you. So essentially what I did is I did a stool test, which is a GI map. So taking a really deep look at my gut microbiome, what the current status of it is, how healthy it is, maybe how unhealthy it is. And I also did a blood test, which showed all of my food sensitivities. So it tests your blood against all of these foods and shows you what your body is having inflammatory responses to. So that was surprising because there was a lot of things on there that I'm eating, that I was eating pretty often that were not sitting well inside of my body. So some of the like more surprising things were garlic, which I literally probably ate every single day. Carrots, cherries, what else? Corn was a big one. Corn is actually a huge one for me, which is in pretty much all processed food. Also, your girl was raised in the Midwest, so corn has been a big part of my life, my whole life. And I never had any idea that this is something that could be causing any like negative effects on my body. Another one was sodium sulfates, which is found in a lot of processed food. It's also found in red wine, which if you have tuned into any of my booze series, you know that like alcohol is just not sat with me physically the last few years. And so red wine, honestly, like I would drink a glass of red wine and the next day I would feel like complete shit. The more common things that you would expect, or that I would expect there to be some reaction to, was gluten. Also, again, with that, like wheat, barley, all found in beer. Again, why maybe alcohol wasn't sitting well in my system. Dairy, really, it was like cow's milk and American cheese. This test does like test each kind of dairy, like goat cheese versus American versus sour cream versus like milk. So I didn't have reactions to all dairy, but we have decided to just eliminate dairy, because what I'm understanding is that if you have leaky gut, which, spoiler alert, a majority of us do, our gut is not super healthy based on, especially us Americans, our American diet. And so it turns out that based on my GI map, I did have leaky gut syndrome. And so when we're eating, things that we eat all the time, like garlic, like the corn situation, our body, because we have leaky gut, those things are penetrating into our bloodstream, and our body is creating these sensitivities for these things. So the beautiful part of this whole process is that this is not a permanent thing. Some of them may be, depending on how I end up. I will retest after I do this elimination diet. So essentially, I have eliminated all of the things that are troublesome to me, that my body is not liking, not responding well to now. And I will eliminate those things for 3 months. There are a couple things that I will eliminate for 6 months. And then we'll retest at the end. So in the meantime, what we're doing is we are actually repairing my gut. So right now I'm in this big, essentially a detox phase where we're killing off all the bad bacteria. So the other thing that I found, and again, Jamie will be on my podcast, she's going to talk about this way more scientifically, but the results of my test were this in my gut microbiome, is that I actually didn't have a ton of bad bacteria, but I didn't have any good bacteria either. And so I had just really low amounts of everything, like even the neutral bacteria, really low amounts. So according to my nutritional therapy practitioner, she said that I'm honestly doing this at the perfect time, because based on what was happening to my gut, it was only a matter of time before there was like a bigger imbalance than there already was. So right now we're detoxing, and then I will start replenishing all the good bacteria and really promoting like that good bacteria to grow in my gut. And so while I'm doing all this, I'm literally fixing my gut in the next 3 months. And so the hope is that I will no longer have leaky gut. And so some of those things that maybe I had sensitivities to, I will be able to process them just fine. But what I am learning from this whole experience, like huge takeaway, and like the thing that I think is really important to just like share about our diet in general, is that variety is the key to life. And so I am somebody that when I find like healthy, like things that work for me, and I feel like I'm putting healthy things in my body, I will get on kicks where I will eat the same thing over and over and over. And I've been like that like my entire adult life. And so, excuse me. What I'm finding now is that that's really not great for us. And even there are all these foods that I'm eliminating, but there's also these other foods that are hot. They're not bad for me, but they are still causing some sort of an inflammatory response. So I can't eat them all the time. So some of these things are like strawberries, spinach, basically all fish, even chicken, turkey, again, the meats I eat the most. But it's like I can have those things. Normally, I don't need to eliminate them, but I do need to not eat them every single day. So like strawberries, if I eat them like within a 24-hour period, then I'm supposed to take like a couple day break from them. So variety, y'all. If you are somebody that's like me and like finds yourself eating all the same things often, just something to really think about, because a balanced diet is a diverse diet. Okay. So that's a big takeaway. Okay. But before we get too far into this, why, Sarah, are you doing all of this? Like, what led me here? Why did I make this decision to go all in on my health at this very moment in my life, when honestly, overall felt pretty healthy. Things looked good. No like red flags when I'm going to the doctor. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have high cholesterol. I don't have any real physical ailments. How this all started is, so Jamie happens to be one of my clients, and I've really gotten to take a deep look at like her business and what she provides. And so I had done some like little things with her just to like test out her process and to like see, like what she's selling and if she's communicating it well and all these things. And so I did kind of this like mini like questionnaire where I just started answering these questions about like my bodily functions, like things that we have to talk about and literally look at, such as our poop. And so what I was realizing after this questionnaire is that I do get lightheaded. Like I did get lightheaded often in the afternoon. I also was having like these energy crashes in the afternoon. My poop was not as on point as it should be. I really didn't like, it was never problematic where I thought that like I had stomach issues all the time, nothing like that. But really, you guys, your poop should be like beautiful day in and day out. I'm realizing now because my poop is just on point. But if it's not, like, honestly, if you're getting diarrhea, if you're having days that you're not going to the bathroom, like these are like big signs that like something is off. So I have this super knowledgeable client that's offering all these amazing services, and I'm kind of thinking like big picture, and she's dropping the seeds too, like I have talked to her about another thing that questionnaire asks about is about your moods. And as you all know, the ones that have been listening, like depression is something that I have dealt with basically my entire adult life. So in 2018, I got on antidepressants. This is when, this is like when all the shit's hitting the fan, the career's going to hell, like everything is like blowing up, and I'm feeling so much like I actually can't do this alone anymore. Like it was worse than it had ever been. It was just affecting my day to day. Like I just did not feel like myself at all. So I got on antidepressants, which for me at that time was a beautiful, beautiful decision that I made. And I had been on them for years. And over the last like 2-3 years, I've been kind of like playing with, and I don't recommend this. I would talk to your doctor. I do feel very in tune with my body though. I feel very in tune with my mental health. And so I was at a point that I was like kind of weaning myself off these antidepressants. I would be off them. At one point I was off them for a year, and then things kind of like shifted again, and I got worried, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get back on them. And now I have been off them for like over a year again, maybe even, I don't even know at this point, but I've been off of them for a while. But here's the irony, is that as I've also shared in the Boost series, I really blamed a lot of like any time that I was having like down moods. It was like, well, did I have any alcohol this week? And it was like, oh, well, you had alcohol 2 days ago, and so you're probably just feeling the effects from it. And so I really, really thought that taking alcohol out of my consumption and not consuming alcohol, I really thought that would eliminate these like dips in my mood. Turns out, fast forward 9 months of not drinking over here, And I still have these dips in my mood. So it wasn't the alcohol, although I will say that alcohol definitely does not do anything positive for my moods. It is a depressant and it does show up for me that way. But it wasn't the thing that is like, causing these dips in my mood. Well, you may or may not know that your microbiome is responsible for a lot of our mental health issues. Basically, our microbiome is connected to every part of our body. And if that's not functioning properly, then nothing else is really functioning properly. So the moods, the mental health, that was a big part of this decision of like, I don't want to be on antidepressants. I don't want to be on a medication for the rest of my life. There's a second part to this I'll share in a moment. And I want to know I want to feel like I'm doing everything in my power to feel the best that I can every single day. And it was like I was doing all these other things right. I meditate, I journal, I get my sleep, I get outside. Like I fucking am not drinking alcohol. Like I'm doing all the right things and I'm still like feeling like this. So that was a huge part of it, is like, what if it is possible, Sarah? What if it is possible for you to not have these moods anymore? So that was number one. Number two is my skin. So as I said before, I'm not somebody that wants to be on a medication my entire life. I have literally been on a acne medication my entire adult life, as long as I can remember. So I probably like since I was 16, I off and on, like there have been periods of time that I've gotten off of it. But here's the thing, like with antidepressants, I could get off of it and I would feel okay and I'd be fine for a while. With my skin, it was immediate. The second I would get off this medication, my skin would flare up. Like so frustrating. If you have ever dealt with acne, you know how frustrating it is. And not that it's like any easier when you're a teenager, but as an adult, man, it is like, it's super frustrating because it just doesn't feel like something you should be dealing with. So I don't want to be on this medication forever. And I've tried the elimination diets. I've done the Whole30. I've cut out sugar. Like I've done all these other things again for my skin. I've literally tried every skin product under the frickin' sun and nothing has worked. Like nothing has worked. So again, Jamie, this beautiful soul, is like, well, you know that your microbiome can also impact your skin. And it's like, yes, I know all these things. And even after like, she's like dropping these, like planting these seeds for me, I have this beautiful opportunity in front of me. I know I can like work with her. And still I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it. And honestly, you guys, like I did not really want to do this. Like I drug my feet. I put it off. I was like, I'm not sure if it's the right time because it's hard, because it's a commitment. And I think that as a society, like we're really big on these like quick fixes. We're really big on like, what can I do that's going to get me the result right now? And I'm really trying to think long term. I'm really trying to look at this wholly, like really, this is 3 months of my life that I have to go all in on this commitment. And then hopefully I'm going to have answers. And then hopefully I'm going to feel the best I've ever felt. And then hopefully I'm going to make these big shifts that are going to impact the rest of my life. Like I'm not getting any younger. So it's like, if not now, when? And why am I going to wait until I'm having like some health crisis before I actually decide to be proactive about my body and my health? So all that to say, that's what led me to this decision. It wasn't an easy decision to make because it felt huge and it was like never the right time. You know, same with like not drinking alcohol, never the right time. Always an occasion that, well, I'll probably want to have a drink. You know, a week into this diet, we went to Waterworld and my daughter's like, why didn't you wait until after we went to Waterworld? Because, you know, they're having like Dippin' Dots, there's like friggin' chicken fingers and funnel cakes and all this shit that I could be putting in my body. for funsies. And instead, like, I packed myself tuna. Interesting choice, but we were traveling. That's what we packed. But anyway, I packed myself all this beautiful fresh food, and it was totally fine. I wasn't hungry. I was satisfied the whole day. It just wasn't that big of a deal. And now I've had, if you've been following, I just did this big hike, like same thing. I'm staying at an Airbnb with other women. Like, do I want to be the one that's like, oh, my diet, I'm sorry, I can't have that. And it's like, yes, it's annoying. Yes, is it an inconvenience? It 100% is at times. And I will tell you this, I am already feeling so good, you guys. So it's motivating. Like, it's not easy, and it's like motivating when you actually start to feel better. So I've been taking all these supplements, and as I mentioned, like, we're in phase 1. So phase 1 is like, we're killing off all this bad bacteria. We're trying to get my gut to like level out here. Okay. And so the supplement game. Oh my God. This has been, I did not even like think twice about this part of it. I was like, oh, it's going to be really challenging to like think ahead for all my meals and to not have all these foods that I love. Never did I ever think about, oh my God, how am I going to keep track of all these supplements? Like, I'm literally taking supplements. I should have counted this before we started. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. 7 times a day I'm taking supplements. So, and the thing about these supplements is that some of them have to be taken with a meal, because one other thing that was happening is that I wasn't breaking down fat properly. So, excuse me, I am like, I'll tell you about this like little cough you're hearing too, because it correlates. Anyway, there are some of these supplements that I have to take with a meal. There's some of these supplements that I have to take on an empty stomach. So it's really what I'm recognizing that these supplements is forcing me into is like 3 solid meals a day. Like, there's not really room for snacking, because I have to be taking certain supplements on an empty stomach, and I have to be taking certain supplements on a full stomach. So with that has been a giant undertaking. The supplement is no fucking joke. Now, the benefits have been that I am eating 3 solid meals, that I'm like planning ahead for my meals. I'm feeling full when I'm full. You guys, I'm literally never hungry unless I'm not prepared and then I'm fucking hangry, which nobody needs that. But I don't feel deprived. I don't feel like I'm starving all the time. Now, when I do get in those situations that like I didn't plan ahead, which actually hasn't happened recently, it happened more at the beginning. I get hangry. I get hangry in general. That is a thing for me. So that's not a good look. So we've been trying to really, really plan ahead. Really be proactive about the meals that I'm eating, having those 3 meals a day. And then the other thing is that I'm drinking so much water, because with all these supplements, you have to be drinking at least a full glass of water with each of them. So, if you're taking supplements 7 times a day, you're drinking 7 glasses of water. Plus I drink water when I work out. Plus I'm drinking water with my meals. So I'm drinking a shit ton of water. So those are kind of like byproducts of the supplement things. But basically what I'm realizing now, so I've been like I felt like I've been fighting off a cold, because basically everybody around me has COVID right now. Like, so many people, excuse me, are not feeling well, have COVID, et cetera, et cetera. So before I went on this big hike, I could like feel my body like, okay, you're not 100%. I think you're fighting something off. Well, now we're going into like, this is like the 3rd week of me feeling like 80% physically. Like I have this like tiny little cough. Like I have some congestion, but it's nothing crazy. It's not, and it hasn't gotten to that point. So I was talking to Jamie about this at my last check-in and kind of telling her like how I've been feeling. The irony is so even though physically I'm feeling not 100%, Mentally, I feel at like 110%. Energetically, I feel at like 110%. So it's kind of wild. But she was saying, we're killing off all this bad bacteria. And it is like literally like seeping through your skin. Like it has to get out of your body, right? And so I'm in this huge like detox phase. So she's like, that can be a lot of the reasons that you're experiencing. Like, yes, your body's probably fighting something off and you are just detoxing. And so this is like to be expected. Also, my skin. So I stopped taking my skin medication. Okay. I kind of like weaned myself off of it. And my skin is like 100% breaking out. Ironically enough, only on my neck, like throat area, which is very interesting because if you've been here, you also know that I have done a ton of work with my throat chakra. And so I am feeling like I've been doing a lot of like throat chakra healing meditations, listening to vibrational music for the throat chakra, because I feel like it's just interesting because I've never really broken out on my throat. Really, when I break out, it's like kind of like my T-zone, the chin area, and my back. So to have it on my neck is not normal. And it's just fascinating to me. But I've been paying a lot of attention to my throat area, chakra, all the things. So I'll just not go on a tangent on that one. But anyway, the skin is like one of the last things to recover or to see the benefits of this like the changes in the microbiome. So I don't know what the skin process is going to be looking like, but honestly, it already feels like it's getting a little bit better. And based on the fact that I got off of this medication that I've been on for years and years and years, I'm feeling highly optimistic that it's only this bad, like that it's not worse than it is. And so I'm really hopeful for that's going to be kind of the end of it. So what else? So as I mentioned, my mental health, like I'm not fucking with you guys. My moods are so much better. I need to share this because maybe you can relate to this. And this is like a whole nother podcast episode. My baseline has never felt happy. Okay. That's not the standard for me. That's not my like go-to emotion feeling. That's not how I generally wake up in the morning. Like I am somebody that I have to work for happiness, and I have had to work really hard to like feel happy. And I can honestly tell you that I feel like I just unlocked like a feeling that I've never had access to, clarity that I've never had access to. Like just like I work really intentionally every morning to wake up feeling good, right? And if I don't, I change it. I have the power, I have the tools, I have practiced for years to do this. I have this process dialed in that I can get to happy on my own. However, I haven't had to try. And when I tell you, I honestly have felt like sometimes, you guys, it feels like I'm on drugs. Not that I've ever done any drugs, but if you've ever done like mushrooms is a good one, a good example. You get, or like if you've microdosed perhaps, you get like this body high, right? Like not like crazy tripping mushroom high. Like I'm talking about like this little instance, or like the second you take something and you start to like feel it kick in, that's exactly what I feel like a lot of the time. Like it literally feels like I'm high on fucking life. Like I'm just walking around with like this body high, like this buzz of like, zzz, like I can do whatever I want. Like the world is my oyster. And this is not a normal feeling for me. So this is making me incredibly optimistic about what I'm doing. And what I'm shifting in my body, because it literally like almost brings me to tears, because to just think that I could just feel happy, that's not something that I've experienced before without working really hard for it. So feeling really, really good about that. Feeling really, really good about the mental clarity. I will say, I told you I'm breaking out, but honestly, like, I feel like my skin is glowing. I feel like my hair is kind of glowing in certain angles. Not to the point that like somebody's going to stop me on the street and be like, oh my God, what are you doing? You're glowing. But I've been pregnant twice. I have, again, done all the things for my skin. I have done a lot of different things for my hair. I have never seen results. I've been on prenatals. I've taken the collagen. Like, I've done all these things that are supposed to, I've drank the apple cider vinegar. Like, I've done all these things that are supposed to, impact your skin. I've eaten the citrus. Like, there's just something about my skin right now that's like, it's like if I look at it in a certain like angle, in a certain light, it's like brighter than it usually is. Like, it feels like it's not as dull. Like, my hair at the top, I need a haircut right now, but like at the top, it feels shiny. Like, the frizziness has like went down, and that's something that's like never just happened for me. So feeling incredibly optimistic about that one as well. And other than that, I mean, I think those are like the big things that I want to share with you. I think that one really cool thing is that in theory, this is only like the beginning. Like, I've been on the supplements for almost a month now. I've been doing the diet for almost a month and a half, because I started that before I got all my supplements dialed in. And yeah, this is like the detox portion. So in theory, I should only continue to feel better and better. Physically, obviously, I'm also seeing results in my body. I mean, I feel the leanest that I've felt in a really long time. My stomach is the flattest. And that is another thing that, like, with drinking, I was like, oh, if I wasn't drinking, once a week, twice a week, whatever, I would definitely see a difference in my weight. And I have seen that my overall, like, my midsection has gotten slimmer. But this is a whole nother level. It's like, oh, those abs that you've been working out for 3 years straight, they're under there. I see them now, So it is like inflammation in general. Like, even around like my eyes aren't as puffy. Sometimes my arms feel really puffy. My arms don't feel puffy. There's like no inflammation anywhere. So that obviously is a huge side effect. So if you were ever considering doing this, and like, as far if weight loss is a goal of yours, like, of course that's going to come when you're eliminating, pretty much all processed food and anything that is making your body inflamed. You're going to see immediate results. And then the skin, the hair, the nails. Oh my God, you guys, my nails are the strongest they have ever been. They are so, I like just look at my nails all day long, and I am just so happy with them and the way that they look and the way that they feel. So yeah, overall, like, is it easy? No. Is it a pain in the ass taking all of these supplements? Abso-freaking-lutely. Is it a bummer sometimes? Like, does it suck at times? Yeah. I had like a situation recently that we were going to go see a movie with a couple of girlfriends, and they were like talking about going to happy hour before, and obviously not drinking. That's not a big deal to me, because I can have a mocktail, and usually I can like get a snack or something. And this time I was like, I can't even like get a snack. You know what I mean? Like, they were going to go to a Mexican restaurant. I'm like, well, I could get like, well, I can't have chips and guac, so I could just have guac. But then I have to ask, like, well, does your guacamole have tomatoes in it? Because I can't have nightshades right now. Is there garlic in there? Because I can't have that, So then it's like, well, just bring me an avocado. So it's just awkward. So yes, there are things that like it does feel at times that I'm like missing out on. This hike that I did, we stayed in Crested Butte. There's like evidently the most amazing pizza place in Crested Butte, and the pizza looked fucking phenomenal. That the women that I stayed with ordered, and I made myself a little shrimp stir fry situation. So yeah, has it felt like I've been sacrificing at times? Absolutely. But day to day overall, no, it doesn't. It's like rare occasions like that. And I keep reminding myself like, this is temporary, this is temporary, this is temporary, and this is for my overall long-term health. So I feel good in that. I feel grounded in that. I feel extremely motivated by that. So yeah, that's kind of the update. So I appreciate you tuning in because I know that like there's only so much I can share on Instagram, you guys. And honestly, like Instagram is not my food vlog. And like I'm trying to run a business on Instagram. So there's only so much of my personal life and progress that I can really share. But this has been a big commitment. But honestly, for me, like if you've been following along, like just knowing I've like been on this whole like sober movement the last 9 months, I feel like this year, I'm just wrapping up this year in the most intentional, purposeful way that feels so good to show up for myself in this way, because I'm showing up for myself on a whole new level that takes a whole nother level of commitment. And honestly, like what I'm being shown is that all the work that I've done over the years on consistency and habit building and accountability and self-trust and all of those things that I have really, really perfected for myself, they're all coming into play right now. And I'm seeing just how like I can do something that's really challenging like this because I have the foundation there. So my world is not flipped upside down. I'm feeling the benefits already. And so it's super motivating. So anywho, that is my current journey, you guys. If you have any questions, like please let me know. Don't be shy. Obviously, if you want to connect with Jamie, my nutritional therapy practitioner, she's amazing. I cannot tell you enough good things about her. But I would be happy to connect you with her. And yeah, if you are invested in this journey, be sure to come back. I think it's probably going to be at the beginning of October that I'll be able to connect with her. Plus, at that point, we'll be able to get like a really good read on things and how they're going and what is happening and shifting for me. So I will keep you posted on that one. But thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And for those of you that are prioritizing your health as well, I see you. It's not always the easy choice. And for those of you that are not choosing all of the quick fixes that are available in this world, I just want to applaud you for that, because there's a lot of like carrots that are dangling out there in general. And there's a lot of opportunities to like get these like quick fixes, but like holistically, it might not be the best answer for you. And that might mean that your results are a little slower. It might mean that things take a little longer. And I'm finding that like good things come to those that are in it for the long run, that are willing to put in the work and wait to see the results. So sending you so much love on whatever your health journey looks like, and we will talk soon.